Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Rayleigh, from the moment he was introduced in the Sabaody Archipelago arc, it was clear that he carried a tremendous weight in his history. He was the right-hand man of Gol D. Roger, the legendary Pirate King, and a witness to the world's greatest secrets. However, his connection with Luffy goes beyond simply training him during the 2-year separation. There is something deeper, more emotional, that binds these two characters. The key to understanding this lies in the moment when Rayleigh cried upon realizing that Luffy was the chosen one. You'll see this in today's video. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, Rayleigh's relationship with Luffy has always had a special tone. From their very first meeting, it was noticeable that Rayleigh looked at Luffy with a kind of admiration that went beyond merely recognizing his potential. It's important to remember that Shanks, when he was still young, had already spoken to Rayleigh's about Luffy before they even met. Shanks, who inherited the straw hat from Roger, saw something in Luffy that made him believe he was worthy of carrying on the Pirate King's legacy. We know from chapter 507 that Shanks talked about Luffy to Rayleigh before the Sabaody arc, mentioning how the young man had the same unshakable determination as Roger. That alone would have been enough to make Rayleigh want to meet Luffy, but I believe their connection goes even deeper than that. Shanks knew that Luffy was special from the moment he met him. It wasn't just the boy's courage in standing up to Higuma or the promise he made to become the Pirate King. It was something deeper, something that Shanks, as a former member of Roger's crew, seemed to recognize. He saw in Luffy not just a grand dream, but also an inner strength that made him different from anyone else. That same spark is what Rayleigh noticed when he first encountered Luffy. In chapter 503, we see how Rayleigh observes Luffy with curiosity and interest, noticing something in him that reminded him of Roger. The friendship between Roger and Rayleigh was one of the foundations of the Pirate King's crew. Rayleigh wasn't just the first mate. He was someone Roger trusted completely. This deep bond between them means that Rayleigh understands better than anyone what made Roger special. When Rayleigh looks at Luffy, it's inevitable that he sees similarities. Both possess an energy that draws people to them, an unyielding determination, and a worldview that cannot be shaped by systems or rules. But I believe Rayleigh's tears go beyond merely recognizing these similarities. Perhaps they have something to do with Roger's legacy and the weight of what Luffy represents. Gol D. Roger's legacy is central to the story of One Piece. He was the man who reached Laugh Tale and uncovered the truth about the Void Century, the ancient weapons, and the meaning of the D. We know that Roger couldn't accomplish everything he wanted because he was born too early. This revelation in chapter 967 shows how Roger regretted not arriving at the right time to fulfill what he believed to be his true purpose. He left a message for those who would come after him, hoping that someone would inherit his will and continue his journey. Rayleigh, as a witness to all of this, carries that weight with him. He knows what Roger discovered and understands the importance of finding someone capable of carrying that flame. When Luffy appears, Rayleigh realizes that he is the person Roger had been waiting for. Not just because of his similarities to Roger, but also because of his ability to gather people and inspire those around him. In chapter 506, Rayleigh asks Luffy an important question. Do you know what you're trying to do? This question shows how Rayleigh wanted to ensure that Luffy was ready to bear the weight of what lay ahead. Yet, even without a direct answer, I believe Rayleigh already knew that Luffy was the chosen one. The moment Rayleigh cried in the anime seems to have been just a reflective moment when he realized that Luffy truly was the heir to Roger's will. The anime made us understand that those tears were not of sadness or regret, but of relief and hope. For someone who has carried the world's secrets for so long, seeing the right person finally emerge must have been an overwhelming experience. The emotional connection between Rayleigh and Luffy is more than just that of master and apprentice. It is a bond that transcends time, linking Roger's past to the future that Luffy is building. I think Rayleigh cried because he saw in Luffy the promise that what Roger started would finally be completed. At the same time, those tears may carry a tone of concern. Rayleigh knows what Luffy will face. He understands the magnitude of the responsibility that falls on the shoulders of someone who carries the will of D and is destined to challenge the world government. Now, let me reveal what these tears may possibly mean. If we think of Rayleigh's tears as something beyond an emotional connection to Roger's past and Luffy's potential, we might interpret them as a reflection of the knowledge he carries about the fate of the chosen ones. Rayleigh, being who he is, not only witnessed what Roger went through, but also has a deeper understanding of the stories and prophecies surrounding Joy Boy and the legendary Sun God. The fact that he became emotional upon realizing that Luffy was the chosen one might not be just about hope, but also about sorrow. He knows what's at stake and possibly what might await wait, Luffy. Joy Boy's destiny was marked by insurmountable challenges, and the fact that he couldn't achieve what he wanted might be the reason why the world descended into the chaos it is in today. The Great Kingdom was destroyed, the Void Century was erased, and the lineages of the 20 kingdoms formed the world government to ensure that history was rewritten. Rayleigh may have cried because he realized that Luffy, as incredible as he is destined to face the same obstacles that defeated Joy Boy. Perhaps he fears that the same tragedy could repeat itself, but at the same time, he must believe that Luffy has something Joy Boy did not, an unshakable ability to unite people, inspire allies, and transform even the hardest hearts. Furthermore, there is the matter of the Sun God. The legend of this figure, mentioned in various ways throughout the series, carries multiple interpretations. Some see him as a hero, a liberator, while others view him as a force of destruction. Chapter 1044, which reveals the true nature of Luffy's devil fruit, the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, adds even more layers to this discussion. The sun god Nika, associated with joy and liberation, is also a figure that emerges in times of chaos. He is not merely a benevolent force that brings happiness and justice. He is someone who challenges existing structures, sparks revolutions, and inevitably causes destruction in his wake. The giants, who are also part of this legend, have conflicting opinions about the sun god. One describes him as the god of liberation, while another calls him the god of destruction. However, there seems to be a consensus. The sun god is someone who laughs, who brings joy amidst chaos, but whose appearance is always tied to periods of great turbulence. If Rayleigh knows this story, and it's likely he does, given his closeness to Roger and his understanding of the world's secrets, he may have cried because he knows what this means for Luffy. Being the sun god is not just about bearing a glorious title. It is about taking on a burden that comes with devastating consequences. Luffy may be destined to bring freedom to the world, but freedom always comes at a cost. The chaos he might unleash, even if necessary to overthrow the world government, will not come without sacrifices. Rayleigh, upon recognizing that Luffy is the chosen one, may have been moved because he knows the journey ahead will not be easy. He saw this with Roger. He knows what it means to challenge the system, carry the will of D, and fight for an ideal greater than oneself. If we consider the responsibility Luffy carries, it's easy to understand why Rayleigh might have cried. He knows that Luffy is the greatest threat to the world government, but he also knows that this role comes at a price. Luffy will have to face not only the most powerful enemies, but also the toughest choices. He will have to decide how far he is willing to go to achieve his goal. As we've seen throughout the series, Luffy is someone who always puts others before himself. This could make him even more vulnerable to the traps of his destiny. Rayleigh, with his experience and wisdom, knows that Luffy will not just be a liberator. He will be a force that changes the world irreversibly. But this change will not come without losses, pain, and sacrifices. Perhaps this is what Rayleigh feared when he cried. He didn't want to see Luffy follow the same path as Joy Boy, but at the same time, he knew he couldn't stop it. Luffy is who he is. He is the chosen one, the bearer of the will of D, the heir to the legacies of Roger and Joy Boy. And as much as Rayleigh might want to protect him, he understands that Luffy must follow his own path. I believe Rayleigh's emotions reflect this duality, the joy of seeing that the chosen one has finally arrived, but also the sadness of knowing what it entails. He knows the stories, the prophecies, and the fate that awaits those who challenge the system. He saw Roger walk this path, and now he is watching Luffy do the same. Perhaps Rayleigh cried because deep down, he knows that Luffy cannot avoid the chaos to come. But even so, he believes that Luffy is the right person to bear this burden. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.